Welcome to Minivan Camper Building with Leslie. Today I'm going to show you how to make this awesome low profile awning that sits on the exterior of your minivan camper. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Leslie and I built out our minivan into a camper. All the videos you're going to see on this channel are showing you different components of the build. I'll explain exactly how I did it so you can do it too if you're so inclined. Stick with me. In this video, I'm not only going to show you how to do this awesome awning, but I'm going to show you how to make yours even better than mine. Since you're here, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? That way we can stay in touch. And if you have any questions about building out your van or any questions about anything you see here, just go ahead and leave a comment. I try to answer every single comment that I possibly can. So welcome. Come on, let's get into it. Here we go. Okay, here is the finished product. And by the time this video is over, you'll see exactly what I did to get here. Let's start up on the roof. This explains how it all fits together. The crossbars I used on my roof are not just any regular crossbars. Oh no, they're not. I went with 1-inch perforated square tubing. You can order it to length, and I ordered mine the perfect length to carry 2 kayaks on top of the roof. That is their primary purpose. However, these perforated tubes are also really good for attaching anything else on the roof, like our cargo basket, and it also worked out great for this awning. So let's go look closer at that. Here's the PVC. It's a 2-inch PVC pipe that I painted black, and I attached it underneath the crossbars as you see here. Let's go in a little closer. Here's how it fits together, but I'll draw out some of these components so it's a little clearer because this picture sucks. Here is where the 1-inch perforated tube crosses over, right, the crossbar. And then you'll see that I took just like a pipe strap or a plumbing strap, whatever they call it, and used that underneath the tube, the square tube, and I bolted that in there with some stainless steel bolts. So let's talk about all the components you're looking at here. The first is this 2-inch PVC pipe, like I mentioned. It's about 6 feet long because that sits nicely, it's low profile, and it doesn't extend too far off the vehicle. This bulky part here on the end is actually this. It's a threaded PVC reducer bushing. The one you see in the previous picture is black because I spray painted everything black. But you'll notice inside this bushing here that part of the inside is smooth, and that's the part that I used some PVC cement to attach to the pipe that holds the awning. The next part of this is the cap. It's one of these bad boys. It's a male threaded PVC plug, and that screws right in to the bushing. I actually did this on both ends, so I have a bushing that's cemented on both ends of the 2-inch PVC pipe, and I got 2 of these threaded PVC plugs to use as caps on both ends. But I felt like I should give myself options just in case. Why not? Why cap off one end permanently? If one end gets stuck and I can't get in there, at least I have another end that I can work with. The next piece here you'll see are these little straps that go around the 2-inch PVC pipe. And these little guys here are actually dog collars that I picked up from the dollar store, and they are perfect because they have these little buckles, they're like snap buckles on them, and they're adjustable, and they have these metal rings, and those are perfect for attaching the awning. So dollar store comes through again. Here I'll show you how I remove it all. I'm unscrewing the cap, or the threaded PVC plug, as we call it. I didn't paint the threads parts because I didn't want to interfere with the threading of it. And I also added a little bit of like a grease or a lubricant on there just in case. You'll see that the whole awning fits completely in the 2-inch PVC pipe, and the size is just perfect. Now I'll show you how this works. Pulling off some Velcro, and have no fear, I'm going to show you how all these pieces fit together. Okay. This is how I built this part. I happen to have some tent flies lying around, and I decided to try to use this for my awning. So I started with the tent fly, but I decided that to roll it up and to give it some structure, I would use a 1/2-inch PVC pipe. So I measured the width of the fly, and I bought some 1/2-inch PVC pipe and laid it across, and then I flipped over the end to make a little pocket that will fit the 1/2-inch PVC pipe. Then I sewed along the edge there, so I have that permanent pocket where the PVC pipe slides in. And another reason I like using the tent fly is because on each corner it has these little tabs to attach the tarp poles that hold up the awning. Along with the tent fly, I also took a strip of nylon. And on the strip of nylon, I attached Velcro strips. This is going to create the cover that wraps around the rolled up tent fly. So I took the tent fly and laid it over the strip of nylon, and then I ran the sewing machine down the edge of that tent fly. That gave me some structure there so that when I roll up the fly using the 1/2-inch PVC that's in the bottom of it, it goes all the way up to the center of the nylon, and then I fold that over using the Velcro strips to attach to one another. And here's what that looks like in real life. That way, once I pull it out of the 2-inch PVC pipe, I just have to unwrap it, let it roll out, and then I attach it onto the dog collars by using some carabiners that are attached to some tarp clips. Super easy. Once the carabiners and the tarp clips are attached to the dog collars, I just go ahead and slip the nylon piece into the tarp clips and secure them. And here's a close-up of exactly what that looks like. Okay, once the nylon and the tent fly are completely attached, I get out my handy-dandy tarp poles. These are telescoping tarp poles that work really well for storage. And the very end has a point that's designed to go through a grommet on a tarp, but I'm going to use those previously mentioned little tabs that already exist on the tent fly. And they just work perfect. Now I get out my guidelines and my stakes and setting up the tarp poles securely, oh so securely. And once those are in place, the only thing I have to do is fix this tent fly. You'll see how it bows there. It's in a dome shape, it turns out. I didn't realize how bad that dome shape was going to affect the overall shape. So here's what I advise to you. Instead of using a tent fly, tarps are flat. They don't have that dome curved shape in them, and they're designed for this. If you can't, or if you don't want to use a tarp, some kind of piece of nylon that's already flat will do a much better job. I, on the other hand, had to make up for the dome shape by rolling up the excess material, clipped it to a point where it would form a nice flat piece, and then I marked on the tent fly where those edges were, where the points were that needed to come together to make a nice flat awning. Then I got out my handy dandy sewing machine and I sewed across those points. So I effectively took out of commission all that extra material. And once I did that, then I had a nice flat awning. It wasn't that hard to roll it up and clip it and sew out the extra material, but I would say that it's just an added step that is unnecessary. So if you have a nice tarp, something lightweight to do this with, use that instead. That way you won't have to fight with this dome shape. So go enjoy your awning. Have a good time out there, and I'll see you on the road.